talked about Chris Eubank Jr, Conor Benn so much, you almost became the official correspondent for the fight. And then it never happened. But I'm not saying you're a jinx or anything, Sam, but yeah. What have you made of the whole situation with the fight getting postponed and now all the talk about it since, particularly Ben's team talking about clearing his name, apology as loud as the disrespect obviously he put on Instagram as well. What do you make of all that?
I don't know, like it's taking a long time. Like if like what I've said over and over, and I swear to God I mean this, I hope Conor Benn, it comes out that he's completely innocent. Like, because right now it looks as though to the average man on the street that you've cheated. But if you haven't cheated, I apologise. I apologise for even using that word. But right now it looks like you've cheated. It's like there's a crime scene, your fingerprints are all over it. Prove your innocence. Like, it's taking a long time, and I hope he does. But if not, there has to be a ban in place, a substantial ban in place. Like, boxing has to do better, and I think the whole situation wasn't handled the best. But it wasn't. I was nothing to do with it, so I don't know the ins and outs. But as I say, from an outside's perspective looking in, it wasn't handled very well.
And if you were in the position of Chris Eubank Jr.'s team, would you wait around for the rematch?
I'd pull him straight out. I don't care about how high the levels were, what people talking about, there's levels. I don't give a shit. The best level of drugs in you is 0. I don't want any drugs. Like, if I was looking after a fighter that I cared about, I would not let them get in a ring with someone who's been pinged for a drug test. And you can quote me on that for the rest of my life, never.
But is that going forward as well? I'm not saying should he have put him in for Saturday, but if it's rescheduled, would you be in favour of that from Eubank's perspective?
If that was rescheduled and it was clear,
yes,
yeah, of course. Like that's if he's proven innocent, or what you're talking about, if he served the ban and then came back, and yeah, because if listen, it's like you can't. There's a lot of fighters, high profile fighters that have been picked for drug tests. Yeah, so you can't be, or because he's not my favourite fighter, I'm not going to talk about it. There's been a lot of fighters pinged for drug tests, Danny. They need to change the rules now to go forward. Set a precedent and say, listen, if you're pinged for this type of drug, it's X amount of years. If you get pinged for this type of drug, it's X amount of years. If you get pinged for this type of drug, it's X amount of years. You need to have levels of bans, realistic levels. So when people say ban for life, that's probably what should happen, but it's never going to happen. So harsh bans. Like, if you've injected performance-enhancing drugs like Jarrell Miller, you should be banned for years and years. A life ban, but it's not going to happen. But that's just my opinion, Danny.
And Chris Eubank Jr, he wouldn't have wanted it to happen this way, but it seems to have come out of this more of a public favourite. Has your attitude towards him changed anyway?
Listen, I've met Chris a few times, and like, you've not really seen this type of his personality come out, and it's coming out that he's a complete showman, isn't he? He's brilliant. He's been, the way he acted in that build-up, he was the build-up of the fight. I thought he was absolutely tremendous, and it's almost a shame he's 33, because if he was a younger man, and because he's not been like, and as I say, the Silent Brothers, they've got him a big fight with Conor Benn, but like, I'm talking about from the offset, he didn't have a Frank Warren or an Eddie Hearn backing him. Yeah, consistently backing him. He kind of went off to Heyman, kind of went off, similar to Joe Joyce, if I'm perfectly honest. Like but we had to move Joe in that certain way. I know people say, oh, it's talking about Joe, but I have to kind of compare it, because we had to move Joe quickly because of his age. But it's almost a shame that Eubank's 33, because I think if he was a younger man, especially after coming off the back of this, he'd get some huge interest, and he's like a household name. I expect there to be like a lot of interest at whoever he fights next. I hope he gets a big fight.